I sent a Karen to prison. This happened maybe 5 years back. I am a mailman, and my route consists of a single stop with 65 community boxes for a large gated community of 800 houses. Each community box has 8 to 16 mailboxes in it, 1 to 2 lockers for parcels, and an outgoing mail slot. Each box has a master lock that opens the entire front of the box so that I can access all of the mailboxes inside of it without having to open all of them individually. The boxes are set up in 4 rows, and it takes me about an hour to deliver to each row. I'm paid by salary, not hourly, so the faster I get done, the more per hour I get paid, which is a great incentive to find ways to cut time out of my day. One way I do this is that I will split the mail into 4 sections, 1 for each row of boxes, instead of bundling mail for each box individually. I then open all the boxes on that row, go through the flats, magazines and legal envelopes and such, and then through with the letters, and then through with the packages, then lock everything up, and move on to the next row. I've been doing this route for 20 years now, and most of the people there know me by sight. I'm friendly with a few, and whenever someone I don't know approaches while working, I let them know my rules. You do not reach into any mailbox that I currently have open. If you need your mail now, and are unable to come back later, tell me which of the boxes your mailbox is in, and I will close it for you so that you can unlock your individual mailbox and get your mail from it. I will not deliver out of order, no matter how big a hurry you happen to be in, because the mail all comes in a specific order, and it is a pretty large waste of my time to have to dig through and find yours. And I do not permit children to be near any box that is open, because you never know what a kid is going to grab. And grab they do, I know from experience. I feel like these are reasonable rules to ask people to follow. So, along comes Karen. This being a rather wealthy gated community, you would think I would run into more of them, but the people there are usually really polite and respectful of my rules. So, you know the type. Slightly overweight, bleach blonde bob cut, pantsuit, shoes that probably cost more than my mortgage payment. She walks right up to me as I'm just starting to unload everything from my mail truck and demands to know which mailbox is hers. Doesn't tell me her name, doesn't tell me her address, just walks up and demands to know which mailbox is hers. You might be wondering how she could possibly not know. When there's 800 mailboxes in 65 community boxes, it can be a little daunting to figure out which box is yours when you first move in. So, in this situation, there's a few questions I need to ask to figure out the best way to help someone. So I start with, have you received a set of mail keys yet? To which she replied, I don't see how that is any of your business. I explained to her that I needed to know if she had her keys yet, so I knew if I needed to grab my lock change kit and swap out the lock so I could hand her a new set of keys. She says that yes, she has her keys. Meanwhile, her son, probably 8 to 10 years old, is starting to pick through the mail I have already unloaded. I have kids, I know how to talk to kids. I told him that he needed to stop playing with the mail. Not loud, not mean, but firm. Karen absolutely exploded over this. She started screaming about how I had no right to order her son around like that. When she finally yelled herself out, I told her that what the boy was doing was called tampering with the mail. That is a felony, and as his legal guardian, she would be held responsible if he didn't stop. So she made a token, get away from there, comment to her kid, and he moved off to play on the grass nearby. So, I got all of her info, and showed her which box was hers. It was in the last row, so I wouldn't be getting to it for a few hours. She opened it and found all of the mail that had come for her before she got her key. She flipped through it to make sure it was all hers. I keep meticulous track of who lives where, and who has moved out. So, I'd been pulling and forwarding all of the mail from the previous owner and delivering anything with a name I didn't recognize for a couple of weeks. I typically don't start delivering the weekly ads to boxes until someone has picked up their mail for the first time, because they can really pile up. She saw that there were no ads and flipped out, accusing me of stealing her mail, and telling me she was going to drag my postmaster down there and get me fired.